True. And who's doing the introduction?
We both are.
You do the introduction because you know the name.
Hi, Sherrie. Here I am, Sherrie. Hey, this is our first ever podcast, and we're recording it without any warm up or anything, because that's what we do. We literally come into the moment. we just come into the moment,
embracing it and rolling with it.
Well,
I think this is also something we've really learned, I think, in the past year or so, to start embracing the moment.
Yeah, get on with it in a nice, aligned way, as opposed to like, get on with it because we have to. Get on with it because it's what we enjoy doing.
Exactly. And don't forget that we do enjoy doing it. So stop driving yourselves crazy looking for the ending in the middle of doing it.
And stop driving ourselves crazy trying to make something perfect when this is perfect. We're redefining what perfect is by just being us. So
exactly, perfection is static and we're in full motion.
We're in full motion. So if anyone can therefore think of a name for our podcast, embracing all of that, let us know. Get in touch. Hopefully, before we share this, we may have a name. But we'll see how we go.
Well, I'm sure we will.
But
a name that won't crap out every single time we try to say it.
Right. There's something going on there. But between the two of us, we have Sherrie from Creative Mermaids and Kate from Gumboots by the Sea, and we are creative spirits. That's absolutely what's brought us together. Spirit has brought us together because we met, it would be a year ago now, over a year ago, through the work of Sarah K. Jones. Over to you, Sherrie.
Yes. Yeah, from the first Harness Your Healing Brilliance, and then we both kind of went, yeah, we're ready for the whole 9 yards, and signed up for level 2 too. And that's when we really got to know each other, because the great thing about the first Harness Your Healing Brilliance and how I got to know Kate and really bonded with her was at one point we were on a phone call, and in the middle of the phone call she goes, "Toddler just ran into the room, I gotta go," click. And that for me was like, oh, there's somebody else out there who understands. And I know that as moms, we all kind of have this experience, but I think that the big thing is that we all think that we're alone. We all think that we're the only person whose kids come in during these phone calls. And I think it lets us stop us. It stops us from creating. It stops us from offering our gifts to the world. It stops us from doing so many things because we're searching for this perfection. And it doesn't exist. There's no way that we'll ever have this perfection. I think this is also why we wanted to start it, and why I so bonded with Kate was because she understood this and this messy middle and moving through it and working with it and going with, okay, you know what? If this is what I can offer right now with small children in my house, so much better that I put it out there anyway than keeping it bottled in, getting frustrated, being angry at my kids that I'm not being the creative person I want to be, being angry at myself that when I do create, it's a mess, and just going, okay, this is my time right now. I'm going to create for the messy middle and forgive myself that it's not perfect and just move with it and improve from there.
Exactly. And we're doing it just as much for other people as we are for ourselves as well. And I think that's last year what I learned when I invested in my own healing, despite having young children, despite often Silas was studying away. So often I was at home on my own, but I was showing up for those 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night calls to invest in me and like to let other women know that it's safe for us to invest in time for us creatively, spiritually, whatever floats our boat. Excuse the pun, because Sherrie's currently on a boat in the Caribbean, may I add, while I'm all rugged up here in Australia. So we're about to go into solstice, but Sherrie's going into summer and I'm going to winter. So we're so yin and yang. Our energies are so yin and yang, but despite it all, time differences and the rest, we've been brought together to exactly do that, spread the word and say it's safe to be exactly who we are, exactly in this moment, and safe to anyone listening to know that as well.
And it's morning and nighttime. We've got exactly yin and yang at the moment. That's actually pretty cool. And also what I want to add there too is also why we decided to start this podcast, a little bit of the introduction and everything else, is also that with both of us, I think, yeah, exactly. When it came with Harness Healing Brilliance, I also really got to work on so much shadow aspects that I worked for a long time to deny and pretend they didn't exist, and lie to myself. And in this process of lying to myself and pretending these shadow aspects didn't exist whatsoever, let alone occur, it was like trying to lie to myself. That whole thing when you're like, everything's okay, everything's okay, everything's okay, everything's okay. And at the same time, I realized if you need to tell yourself that over and over and over again, there's something terribly wrong. You don't have to convince yourself or others that everything is okay. And also, it's also perfectly okay not to be okay. There's seasons. That's the whole point. You have the daytime and you have the nighttime, and you have your winter, you have your summer. And I think this is what we really want to go with this podcast. It's not just share our experience and help people heal and realize that you can be a mom and a creative, and you can bring spirit into your life, and you can go through these things and still be an imperfect, perfect human being. But really realize that it's okay when it is the dark time. It's okay when it's winter. There's supposed to be a winter. There's supposed to be a night. There's supposed to be seasons and cycles. And these are things that we should embrace and work with. And what I talk about with the messy middle is that, it's the whole caterpillar to butterfly thing. And we like to skip over the cocoon. No one likes to talk about the cocoon. That's the ugly part. You're dissolved, messy goo, and that's not sexy. Like that's not something people like to talk about. Everyone likes to go like, look, I was a caterpillar and now I'm a butterfly. And that doesn't help anybody. Oh no, that's bullshit. But even though deep down in our head we know it's bullshit, there's a little sneaky voice in our head that tells us maybe you're the only person. You know what? Even though one part, our heart's telling us, no, this is bullshit. This is capitalism and commercials, and they're trying to make you buy shit so that you'll spend more. There's still that part of you that goes, yeah, no, maybe it's just me. And that's what we really want to do with this podcast too, is talk about, spirit and creativity and bring that into your life, but also really embracing the fact that it's okay to be in the messy middle and work your way through it.
And it's that classic, I love the cocoon butterfly, but it's the classic lotus from the mud too, right? Like, it has to be muddy. The pretty stuff comes from the mud. For most of those beautiful butterflies that we do see on the other side and are surrounding us all around us when we forget to stay in our own lane have come, all of them have had to come from somewhere dark, have had to come from somewhere messy, are usually inspired. Even if they've got a crap load of money, they've still had some kind of experience, financial, you know what I'm saying here. They've had some kind of experience to go, I want to share this with the world, even if it's something I don't necessarily agree with. So there's got to be light and dark. So yes, shadow aspects, massive thing to talk about, and we're going to put it all out here in these podcasts. Like, this is the raw, unedited us. Typos and all.
And that's the brilliant part.
Absolutely.
To inspire other people to do the same, right?
Yes. And to know that, we're pretty happy to be the butterfly some days, but also to roll up and be in the cocoon and to go, actually, I'm feeling this, or ego has absolutely taken the reins and I need to spend a good hour meditating or taking some time to self-care. I know for you, Sherrie, it's creating, it's your writing, and it's being able to have the confidence to speak up about where we're at in the moment and how we're feeling in the moment, to really evolve and grow and shift and flutter like a butterfly when we need to.
Yes. And I think this is also something that is often overlooked, because you said about the ego thing, and this is what I think we mean also by having to relearn the same thing over and over again, because I'm also so guilty of this, Yeah. I started something for the pure joy of it. For me, also with the writing, and before I left on the boat in Berlin, I just remember I really wanted to write. And the only thing I wanted to do when I dreamed of my perfect day was dropping the kids off at Kita, going to a cafe, drinking my coffee, having a cheesecake, and writing for hours. And so I started to do it, and it was bliss. It was so wonderful. It was everything I wanted. And then I started going, okay, so now how do I ramp this up? Ego came in there and was like, okay, now we need to start buying courses. We need to start marketing. We need to start doing this, and this, which is nothing wrong with that. It's important. No. You need to do it.
Absolutely.
But the problem was that I got so ramped up in all the things I had to do, enjoying the whole point of getting up, dropping the kids off, and writing, and just enjoying the coffee in different cafes around the world. And that was something that I realized afterwards. It's like, oh, it's so sneaky, isn't it? The fact that something you love can quickly get corrupted by your ego saying, oh, this is not good enough. It's not good enough. It's got to be more. It's got to be bigger. It's got to be better. And you're just sitting there going, just how did this happen? But I think that's also when you said, this is the cycles. This is this. Okay, now I pull back. I meditate. Something's wrong. So the vibration's gone wrong. What's going on here? Meditate, go back into your cocoon and realize, I was just pushing. I went into an eternal summer and I need to go fall, winter, spring, and then hit my summer again.
Yes, exactly. Isn't that funny? I wrote down like my mantra. I really came into Gambitavasi in meditation, self-care with my second baby. And when I had her, before I went into labor, my mantra was just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Ego just all the way. Keep going, must push through because I'm a mother. Martyr, martyr, martyr. Poor me, look at me. I'm going and going and going. And I was just on that wheel. I wasn't getting anywhere. And I can't believe someone said it to me the other day. And it was a real trigger. They're like, oh, well, you know, it's just someone at a supermarket. They're like, got to keep going. And I was just like, no, we do not have to keep going. We actually can stop. It's safe to pause. It is safe to pause. It's safe to take a breath. It's safe to go, It's safe to say no. It's safe to say no and just be whatever you need to be. Yeah. So it's really interesting that just keep going. Such an ego was taking the reins. Look at me. Look at me.
The huge thing that it's safe to pause. It's like someone believes that if you stop and take a break, and reassess, it's like you can't restart. Yeah, you can always restart again. And you get to apply your lessons. And I think this was also a massive mistake that I made was this whole create, promote. Like this, and then while you're promoting, you're making the next thing instead of going, wait, no, like this is a really surface skimming thing. I can go deep into one or two offerings and make them better and also feed my soul while I'm going deeper into these and creating these things instead of going this whole, like I said, not ego taking over and you're not allowed to stop. You just keep on going. No, stop, breathe, reassess. Are you even on the right path? You'll never know that if you don't check your surroundings. If you're just, charging through the woods, I'm strong,
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't check in, and this is such a big thing for me, if you don't check in with heart and soul, if you're not checking in with where you are at heart and soul, and sometimes heart and soul take the biggest of biggest beatings, and sometimes they have to. Just sometimes that's what's going to happen, but they never ever have to take such a beating that you forget to check in with them. You forget to check in where your desires are at, where you're feeling, how you're at, and accepting that that's always going to change. It can never be stagnant.
Exactly. And I think this is just huge. People are often afraid of feelings because feelings tell us things that we might not want to know.
Yeah.
Feelings are often the things that keep us like, wait a minute. And this is also something that I came up with the cageology. Wait, now it's too windy. Just one second. Like I said, messy middle here. Perfect. I was sweating too much. I don't need to deal with me sweating. Okay. But this was something that even with the cageology and the feelings and whatnot, we don't realize sometimes just how the feelings keep us trapped in things because, you're doing something, especially if you're successful and everyone's looking at you going, but you have the perfect life. Why would you ever want to change things? This looks so good. And it's what I call the golden cage, which is, on the outside, the bars are really shiny and pretty and people look at you and go, I wish I had that. So you're nuts for wanting to go out. And so we often shove these feelings down going, well, everyone else is telling me I'm crazy. But your feelings are telling you the truth. It's okay to listen to them and change. Sometimes they're going to demand of you, you need to do something scary. You need to make a big change. You might have to become a butterfly. And let's face it, the butterfly looks nothing like a caterpillar. That means you cease to be who you were.
Pure transformation.
Yes. And we should be looking forward to it.
Yes.
But accepting it's hard.
Celebrating that transformation.
No one said it would be easy.
No one said it would be easy. And again, that we get so stuck in that, we'll keep going, and that illusion that these all the butterflies around us, because we forget to stay in our own lane. We forget that this is one soul, one heart's journey. We get so distracted by all the butterflies and forget that they've come from somewhere too, and that they're still retreating. They're still going into that cocoon, constantly evolving. Definitely.
Exactly. I love that. Yes, the constant evolving. And this is what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
Embracing that, accepting it's scary, realizing it's okay, and doing it anyway. And also going with, I can stop at any point, slow it down, and then go forward again. Stopping is not permanent.
No. And no rules. Definitely no rules. Yes.
The only rule is you have to make your own, and you're allowed to change them.
Absolutely. And so now I feel like we've actually got 100 different names for our podcast just out of our introduction. Episode 1, Kate and Sherrie. So I'm really happy to throw it out to the audience and go on, give us a name, because it's hilarious.
Let's them.
Yeah, let's see. But for now, we are such little creative spirits. And so how are you? What are you doing at the moment, Sherrie, to celebrate the cocoon and transform if it feels right and when it feels right? Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. So I've actually, in the last couple of days, enforced coffee bubble time.
Oh, I like it.
Wonderful. It's wonderful because I live in a boat, which is a very small space. And the problem is that in the mornings, I mean, I'm pretty okay during the day, but I like to start my morning quiet. I like to journal. I like to have a little bit of meditation time. And then I like to then plot out what I want to do. Check in with myself, check in with my why. Am I on the right track? Because I find if I'm checking in more, the ego tends not to spin out of control in the same way as when I go 2 or 3 weeks out checking in, and all of a sudden I'm crazy. I'm this person who's going, I gotta do this. I'm yelling at my kids because I'm like, just let me finish this text. Like all of a sudden I become a monster. And the whole point of this life is that I'm not a monster. Like, that's the thing. So I've just decided, okay, coffee bubble time.
Coffee bubble time.
So coffee bubble time means that when I'm drinking my coffee, I'm in a bubble. They're not allowed to talk to me. They can play around me. That's not a problem. They can be in my presence. But it's about a half an hour. Every now and then they ask me, is the coffee finished? I show them it's not. But then I get my meditation in, I get my journaling, and I get to set up what I want to do today, what would make me happy if I finish it today. And then I know what to work with from there. And then I can go play with them, have some time with them. And then me and Patrick take turns working. So he'll take them for a couple of hours and I take them for a couple of hours. And I find that since I've started doing this, it's only been a week, but it's been such a good week. I feel so good this week. I'm not angry at them all the time. I'm not yelling. I'm getting my stuff done. Perfect. And I'm quickly realizing too what's important.
Perfect. Yeah. And then I think when you have a win like that, like a whole week, then you can lean in to what is working and celebrate and appreciate and love your children more and love your life more, love yourself more.
Exactly.
That's love a win. But when we're on that treadmill.
Exactly. And what about you? What are you doing?
Okay, what am I doing? That's a good question. As soon as I asked you, I was like, oh crap, now I have to answer that. And then I was like, just listen to Sherrie, your thing will come. But because we are waiting for winter solstice over here, I do have a response though. Because we're waiting for I've been patiently waiting because over here it has been retreat, breaking old cycles, checking in, what do I have to do differently as we move out of the shortest days of the year and, into the winter and gradually towards the spring. Like, what do I need to do? And a lot of it was shedding ego again. Ego is like, well, no, you haven't done this or this or this. But the amazing thing that's come out of that, as I have retreated and rested, I've actually formed more regular writing rituals. And I'm like, oh, I do this Sunday night. Oh, cool. I do this Monday nights. Tuesdays I do this. Oh, Wednesdays I don't do anything, And So it's finding,
Yeah.
it's finding a balance, which, you know,
Intention.
is not 50-50 at all, but it's providing healthy boundary. And all I kept thinking as you were speaking with the kids in the coffee bubble, that's a healthy boundary. That healthy boundary is keeping you centered. It's keeping you grounded. And how lovely is that to feel centered and grounded with healthy boundaries? So that's what I've realized through sort of backing off a bit. I've been more productive because I'm like, no, I have that time to do those things for then, now. So I've actually got more structure, even though I'm more like flow when it's intuitive, but through intuitively listening to do less, retreat, I've actually formed, I have stronger intention. So I've formed some better boundaries around getting stuff done. So that doesn't sound as simple as coffee bubble. I'm going to do coffee bubble, but I've just honored myself enough to just rest and retreat and not do anything. And through that's always, there's so much productivity in meditating, in stillness, in taking that pause. And I mean, that's the best example I can give. It's like, whoa, I took a step back and I actually have I've been more productive. I have more writing practice in place. I'm getting more work done for my business. Wow. Like incredible. It's true. It works. Whoever's listening, we promise you it works.
And I was just thinking that we've got like 10 different episodes all in this podcast, right? Like we're just like skimming. We have to go deeper into all these different topics.
Podcast you ever need to listen to.
What's the introduction? That's what we said we do, right?
Right, exactly.
Man, we rock. Let's face it.
We're getting it done, but we're not just keep going. We're just being.
But I just want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's what I want to say. The healthy boundaries, it's so true, because for a very long time as a mother, I thought being a good mother meant no boundaries, that you just gave and gave and gave and gave and gave. And even when your cup was empty, you cut your veins open and you filled your cup up with your blood. Like that's what you did as a mother. And I always thought it was selfish to want to have my own time. I always thought, but I've got small children and who am I to be doing this? That's not what a mother does. And then I realized I was so miserable and so sad. And it's not that I didn't love my children, of course, but that's the only happiness in my life. I'd ceased being a woman and I became strictly a mother. And then I realized that, no, that's not the way to live a life. Also for my children, they need more than that. My children need to see a good role model. My daughter needs to see a woman who is fully creative, fully present, not just giving herself to one person, her or her brother. And, she needs to be able to see that I can have a relationship with her dad, I can have a relationship with myself, and I can have a relationship with them. And it took me 4 years to learn this.
Yes.
And then when I invested in Harness Your Healing Brilliance, I realized, okay, this is what I've been doing. This is not right.
Yeah, absolutely. And same here. That was really the beginning. Oh, look at that. My little Bubba just woke up as we're wrapping up our first podcast. How funny. Hey, that is exactly. I love that. That's so
hey,
classic.
Sweetie. Oh, good old girl.
So sleepy.
Sleepy baby. But we can definitely end that one on that note, actually.
I reckon we'll end on that note. I'm going to put my Bubba back to bed. But thanks for listening, everyone. And get back to us if we don't have a title yet. Get one for us. Whoa, I'm just going to press stop recording now.